Southwestern family of companies welcomes you to the Action Catalyst. Each week, our diversely and amazingly accomplished guests share their insights and inspirations to help us ignite our own. So let's invest attention together to breathe, to reflect and refocus, and decisively defeat that voice we call Mr. Mediocrity. Then let's enjoy moving forward to make a positive difference in our world.
This episode is sponsored by Southwestern Coaching. Southwestern Coaching has helped over 12,000 people increase their incomes by over 25% on average. As a successful salesperson, you know the importance of increasing your sales, but sometimes you might just need a little extra push and accountability to meet your goals and grow your business. Southwestern Coaching will help you increase your income through one-on-one sales and leadership coaching tailored specifically to your needs. Together, we will elevate sales.
Hello and welcome to the Action Catalyst. This is Dan Moore. In this episode, Southwestern Consulting's Ron Alford interviews Jeremy Perkins, founder of Precision Medical Products, as he helps us understand how to clarify our vision. Hope you enjoy.
Welcome, everybody. Action Catalyst. This is Ron Alford, and I am excited for our guest today. We have a friend of mine that I've just admired and respected for so many years. Jeremy Perkins is coming to us from Greater Sacramento, and things he is bringing to this podcast today, I'm very excited about. So, Jeremy, welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Ron.
If you don't mind, walk us through just from your beginning, collegiate days, to obviously what you did to work your way through school and then starting a company. And if you don't mind, just kind of walk through your bio a little bit.
Yeah, so when I was 19 years old, freshman in college, I took that big leap and went and sold books door to door in the hot summer heat of Green Bay, Wisconsin, and ended up selling for 5 summers. I was with Southwestern for a total of 7. Phenomenal experience. So much of the way I think about selling today is based on, what I learned when I sold door to door, the cycle of selling and just communication skills, how I approach people, persistence. Like, I learned a ton through the selling side, probably equally as much, if not more, on the managing, recruiting, and training side, I'd say. Just because when I ended up starting my company, it was second nature, like how to run. I was very confident with like how to run a company when I went to go start my company. It was all things that really helped. So I sold with Southwestern, total of 7 years, and then left. I did Edward Jones for about 1.5 years. And in college, I always wanted to be a stockbroker. I was took the finance classes, the business. I dreamed, even when I was at Southwestern, I said, I can't wait to be a stockbroker. And then I hated it. For me, did not fit my personality and, what I wanted. And I had a lot of other good friends that were in the medical device industry, and they were really passionate about what they were doing. So it made me explore that industry. I actually interviewed with 300 companies. I got told no by 296 of them. I got 4 interviews, and all 4 interviews turned me down because I didn't have medical device experience. So after about a full year of interviewing, I finally got into the medical device industry, but then ended up that next year, top 10 sales rep in the whole nation out of 350 sales reps. And then ended up 3 years later, starting my own company in medical device. And then fast forward till today, 10 years later, we have the number 1 fastest growing company in Sacramento. Our company is worth over $100 million. We take care of over 100,000 patients a year, use our medical devices. And we've been able to make a really big impact, and it's something like we're really, really passionate about. It's funny because at the time, my wife begged me to not start the company. I don't know if you ever know that. Like, she's like, I don't know why you're going to do this. You've had a job that we make really good money. It's secure. Like, we live really good lives. And I worked really, really hard those first 2 years. That third year, I was probably only working like 25 hours a week. I had it on autopilot. All my doctors were prescribing. But what I told her, I didn't want to look back at my life and know that I didn't like give it a run to see what I was capable of doing. I always want to start my own company. I want to look back and say, hey, you know what? For better or worse, whether I was successful or not, I gave it a run and really tried. There's a quote, I have it hanging up in my room. It's the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, and just making that decision. But man, we risked everything. I put every dime I had in my bank account. I put all that into medical devices. My garage was full of medical equipment. Yeah, we risked it all.
What a powerful story, man, about feeling fear and acting in spite of it. Walk us through, man. I'm always intrigued by when you study high achievers and people that influence so many people. the measure of a human is defined a lot of times how they deal with adversity. Like not who they are in shiny times when everything's just coming to them, but who they are when they're getting kind of kicked in the teeth. And you have to have had some serious setbacks, roadblocks, just valleys over these years, and you push through them. Can you walk us through maybe an example of a time where you've gotten kind of rocked and how you got through it?
Yeah. So in the very beginning, the very first year, so we actually started our company out with the premise that we already worked with orthopedic surgeons, and there was so much need for other products like bracing, cold therapy. Our number one product at the time was cold therapy unit. And Medicare came out 4 months into us starting our company, and they said that the code for cold therapy, the reimbursement code, is going to get cut. And they give you a 90-day warning. So, and what we do, it's, we're getting prescriptions from surgeons, and then we get the insurance companies to reimburse us for the products. Well, when a code gets cut, it basically means they aren't going to pay for it anymore. Our number one product was now gone. And we had to go out there and look really quickly for new products and reinvent ourselves right out of the gate that first year. I think it's probably important for any entrepreneurs, the ability to pivot. We're doing that across the board. Even with our company, we're making little pivots and changes.
Yeah. Isn't it funny how the things that hit us, the shifts we were forced to make, oftentimes that ended up being great. How do you avoid complacency? I love, in a world where there's always more, and sometimes you can stay up at night and never be content. How do you ride that fine line of being content and joyful with what you have, and yet at the same time, not being complacent, having this pursuit that says, man, what's possible?
I think I'm hardwired a little bit. Maybe my parents instilled it into me. I don't know. Even growing up playing sports, I always think about it. I'm like, is that just something who I am? I don't spend a lot of time convincing myself to be motivated. I wake up pretty motivated most days. Yeah, I don't know if it goes back to sports. I was always a little kid on the field, and with basketball, I played point guard. I didn't have the athletic ability, but it was I had to try really hard. But I learned over time that if I try really hard, I can beat most. It created this competitive nature. I feel like I've just been highly motivated. What our company does in revenue right now, we do that in 1 quarter, what we used to do in 1 year. So we compress all those goals into 12 weeks, and we just do a 12-week sprint and do as much as we can. And then at week 13, we pause, shared ideas. How do we get better? What do we need to keep doing? What do we need to stop doing? What do we need to start doing? And kind of go through those exercises. And we keep revamping. But I do that even personally too. It's how can be a better husband? How can be a better dad? For me, traveling is really important. I like to travel. It gets me energized in life. Do I have any traveling goals the next 3 months or 6 months? And just setting those goals kind of inspires me. I set a goal to buy a new house. I give myself certain numbers. If I hit them, I kind of like that gamification, making it fun, and that motivates me.
Well, I hope every one of our listeners right now is not thinking, well, I'm different because I'm XYZ. What you just said applies to all of us. For you to stoke that fire, for you to keep yourself lit up about whether it's the new house or the trip you want to take, but you constantly having that fun game, I think it keeps you smiling, it keeps you joyful, but it also keeps you hungry. How do you get started? How do you start your day, if you don't mind? Just in terms of, are there 1 or 2 habits you have that are just no matter where you're at that get your day started right?
Yeah, so I listen to these morning routines and these YouTube videos on people's insane morning routine. I think The Rock wakes up at 4 a.m. He's working out by 4:30. By 6 a.m. he's already had breakfast and done a full, So I built my whole company from pretty much I'd say 9 p.m. to 1 in the morning. I'm just a night person. I can do tons of emails, business plans. My brain really works well at nighttime. I'm not necessarily a morning person. I'm not going to sit here and be I wake up at 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. When I was doing sales, and I would get up earlier some days when I had to travel. But there's 3 things I really do. Sunday nights, I set up my week, right? So I'll look at where I'm going to be the whole week, what I got to get done. I'll kind of prep for that Sunday night, make sure if there's any big things like plane flights or just basically taking the time to mentally look at my week and how that's all laid out. Also on Sunday night, I'll have everything ready to go. So if I'm going to work out, sometimes I work out at the end of the day, at 4 or 5 p.m., I'll have my gym bag already in my car. I'll have my dress clothes laid out for the day. So when I wake up, it's I put on the dress clothes, I hit the car, and I'm kind of I have that momentum going for the day. The Sunday night thing definitely works. I also don't do a lot of preparation in the morning stuff. I feel like I just do that prep the night before, and I like to get up and just jam. I do spend more time at nighttime. Like I'm not a big Netflix movie person. Some people are, but I'll spend a lot of time at nighttime, like reading, listening to podcasts, watching YouTube videos, learning different things on medical products, researching, putting together business plans. Like I really enjoy, my wife goes to bed around 9 p.m. every night. So from like 9:30 to like midnight, I have like a lot of time that I get to research and read and all that. And that's kind of like, I've come up with a lot of really good ideas just for our business and stuff in that time. Anybody that works with us always jokes, like they'll wake up in the morning and they'll get like 10, 15 emails from me that are all like kind of late. So I don't know if I've got the strongest morning routine, but my night routine's pretty money. I like to get stuff done at night. When I do wake up at 7 a.m., it's like, boom, I'm going and jamming.
Yeah. Well, you hit it perfect. There's no one way to get there. And by the way, technically 12:30 a.m. is the morning. So you do have a pretty good morning.
Maybe
It's 1 a.m. It's just a little different for everybody else. But
one of the most freeing things I ever heard in my life, when I heard that Jeff Bezos doesn't set an alarm and he's not like necessarily a morning person, and in his first hour of his day, like you read about it, he says he putters. He just kind of putters the first hour, hangs out. He's like not in a rush. He doesn't start his first meeting till 10 a.m. When he does start, if you read about him, it's like right when 10 a.m. hits, every meeting's like boom, 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 boom. And it's just like a sprint, till like whenever it is, 5 or 6, whenever he finishes. So,
yeah, love that. Whether we're studying Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, Bezos, these wealthy, financially wealthy people, or people in ministry, people in musicians, any walk of life, I think the best of the best just embrace their routines and have a way of not getting into a rut with it. Routines are positive until they become a rut, and then it gets monotonous. So, brother, I knew this time would fly, man. But just thanks for your heart. Thanks for being you and bringing it strong.
Yeah, man. Hopefully that helped. Can I end with one idea real quick?
We'd love it. Please.
Yeah. So just kind of like when you're talking about routine, through my CEO group, I did a program. Well, I did a year at Harvard and then 3 years at MIT. So the last 4 years I've done these like CEO programs. And probably the number one thing I learned that 4 years is out there they call it circle of life, like the 8 things. There's like family, business, finances, health. You keep going around that. So I try and take an account for that every once a quarter. That week 13, really like how am I doing with family? How am I doing with with the kids? How am I doing with my wife? How am I doing business and finance? I think it's so important. People forget to just be well-rounded, because I've actually had the privilege of meeting a bunch of billionaires through this program. And it's actually, sometimes it's really inspiring to meet them, and sometimes it's not. Sometimes like they're divorced. They don't treat people kindly. I feel like they got very little spirituality in them. And like, that was like pretty uninspiring, and that's the thing. You can sometimes focus so much on one thing that you become really, really good at business, but then you're a horrible person. You're not like in good shape. And I just want to encourage everybody, kind of closing like take an account of like all the different areas of your life, and make sure you're just like, once a quarter, every 3 months, just that you are staying in good shape, and that you're spending time with your family and spending time with your loved ones and stuff. Because I think it's really easy to get out of balance if you do that for years and years, and then you win the battle and you lose the war kind of thing in life. So that's it, man. Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, that is a brilliant ending point. So appreciate you lots, man. Thanks for being here with us, Jeremy.
All right, buddy. Take care.
If you enjoy this podcast, please make sure to subscribe. To stay updated on everything that the Action Catalyst is up to, make sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Action Catalyst Podcast and Twitter at Catalyst_Action. Thanks for listening.